it helped me out a lot with learning a lot about crypto. It saved me in that downturn, and practically everything that you guys recommended. I know that Phantom went up during January, DeFi Kingdoms, uh, literally everything. Angry Birds went up at some point. You guys know exactly what you're talking about, and I felt like it would be awesome to introduce you guys to my stream because I think we can help a lot of these guys out here too.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been over here on Twitch, and I always like coming over and seeing kind of what's going on Twitch. Because it's a little bit of a different type of community, and I think our audience just in general on YouTube, just like looking at analytics and stuff, is like the age of basically like 20 to about like 45, I would say, is like the core audience, but with the majority being like 25 to 35. But I do think it's really important, for people who are, basically younger as well, like in their early 20s, early to mid 20s, which I know like Twitch has, basically a ton of audience in that demographic and younger. Getting your money right and getting a financial education, getting financial literacy as early as possible. You do not know how, like, it sounds boring, right? But you do not know how valuable that is, because most people, right, they do not get a financial education from, college or from, unless they take finance courses specifically, or from, high school or general education. So you really have to seek it out. And I mean, the way the world works, right? Money fuels a lot of things, right? And so I think there's a lot of young people as well who, when you're 22 and you're fresh out of college and stuff, and you're just like, I'm not interested in money right now because I don't need it necessarily, right? That comes back to bite you in the ass when you do need it, right?
Yep.
And so, and you don't know when you'll need it, right? Because things come up in life and things are unexpected. So yeah, I just think for the younger audience, like, I love seeing people who are like, 17, 18, 19, being like, man, I can't like really open up an exchange properly right now, but I figured something out. They got their way to get into crypto, and sometimes it's a peer-to-peer way where they find somebody in real life. They can just like, hey, I got some cash, boom, there you go, cool, I got my crypto on my phone, sweet, let's go. Now, however it is that you need to get started, like, I mean, literally, there's like 12-year-olds out there making shit tons of money on NFTs. I'm like, if a 12-year-old can make bank in crypto, anybody can.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things when you're talking about the education system not really teaching the economics. It's true, because for the past 2 years, I didn't even know that. I was just doing my thing on Twitch, playing video games. I managed to get into that like 1099 master race, right? But I wasn't making enough at that doing my passion. And with inflation, everything going on, it's like, man, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue doing this. I may have to go do something else that I'm not going to enjoy doing. And then
And
crypto.
that's a huge thing too, bro. Like, not being able to do what you want to do in life, bro. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
But that's where a lot of people end up. They don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yep. I know
Yeah.
Miguel's
What
got
were
a
we
lot
gonna say?
going on. He's in Miami, right?
Yeah. And, I think he was just basically making sure everything was set up. I just texted him real quick, so I think he'll be jumping on here. And like, I'm not sure if he's used to the platform that we're streaming through. So
Oh,
we'll see.
gotcha. Yep. Yeah, I usually utilize Discord, uh, just because of
Mm.
gaming, and then Google Meets. I do a little outsourcing through software development, outsourcing. It's a very small job on the side that I do.
Mm.
So I utilize Google Meet a lot that way. All right.
There we go.
Nice.
Yo,
Here, here's the man himself in what, Miami Beach?
yes, sir.
What is going on? All right. So now we've got the two gentlemen here who run Cultivate Crypto. We have Charlie on our left, and then Miguel here on our right. These are the two guys who have basically been my financial support when it comes to doing what I enjoy and what I love. And it can only get better from here. especially with the course that you're coming out with currently, with these markets being, I would say, rather low. So,
Yeah.
so if you guys want, go ahead and introduce yourselves to the chat here.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I guess I'll go first.
a little bit
So, yeah,
about
my
what you
name is,
guys do.
yeah, so my name is Dollar Cost Crypto. I've been in cryptocurrency since 2016. Um, Met this lovely gentleman in the crypto mindset courses as well as crypto mindset meetup and stuff we did here in Las Vegas and stuff. And yeah, we've helped through the courses. We've helped over 8,000 students learn about cryptocurrencies as well as like we have a consultation business as well as like future. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that part yet. It's a little bit of
got a few buns in the oven.
Yeah, we got a few buns in the oven, and then I'm only one half of the crypto mindset. My partner to the left here, I should introduce himself. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So my name is Charlie from Cultivate Crypto on YouTube. Same as Miguel. I've been in crypto for myself since 2017. I bought Ethereum for the first time at $90, thinking I was too late to the party. And then Ethereum, of course, went down as soon as I bought it. Went from $90 to 70, and then went to $400 like 2 months later. I was like, holy shit, I need to learn about this stuff. So I've just been, constantly, both me and Miguel, Dollar Cost Crypto, have been, on crypto, you know, as basically 24/7, as much as we can, since that time, right? And it's one thing, right now is people who are paying attention to crypto, people who are learning this stuff right now, since the market is down, those types of people tend to be value investors. They also tend to be people who are a lot more long term, right? Because it is scary, right? When markets go down, you're like, holy shit, Bitcoin's down 70, 75%. Ethereum's down even more. The stock market's going down. Real estate's going down. All this stuff, it can be scary. So that's what we try to basically alleviate with the course. But just, I think people's personalities who are looking at crypto right now and be like, these prices are nice and juicy. It's never too late, right? So, if $90 Ethereum was at the top, I don't think $4,500 Ethereum was the top either.
Right.
Yep, up and to the right, as they say, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey Jesse, can you tell me the link to the stream as well?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and just link it to you directly. It might be a little bit easier.
Shout out to
And-
Jesse for being a Terran player. Shout out to Jesse for being a Terran player.
If you guys don't know, Miguel
If you
has
guys
played
don't
StarCraft
know,
before.
Yes, back in the day, I'm grandpa here. When StarCraft 2 first came out, I played because obviously I played a lot of so I'm dating myself here, but I wasn't like old enough to be playing StarCraft like at that yeah with StarCraft 1 when it first came out and everything like that. But my first kind of foray into it is like I played StarCraft 64, which they kind of ported the normal game.
64 one.
Yeah, the N64, and then from there I've always liked StarCraft from there. And then so I was like, but then at that point, I pretty much everyone was like, StarCraft 1's pretty old now. No one really plays it, or they're just or it's really just the highest level players playing it. And then StarCraft 2 came in, and I was like, oh, I was all on board. So
Yep.
I also was a Terran player for sure.
It's actually the game that created esports, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Back in the day, before League of Legends and all that stuff took over it.
Yeah,
So
our boy Boxer got famous.
Boxer is actually my favorite player of all time, by the way. So
Really? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I learned how to play the way I do because of Boxer. It's pretty funny. And nobody else plays like that. I try to encourage people to play like that, but they just don't do it. When this guy's doing things that's not the meta, it's amazing. But yeah, to get back into the crypto, you guys are basically introducing a course that you can sign up for over the weekend. And I've taken this course back in January, and that was during a downtrend, surprisingly. And you guys introduced some really cool things that I was not familiar with. It helped me get out of that hodl mode and kind of understand how the market works. Sold my positions. You guys were basically saying, hey, watch out. things are going down, if you're not confident with altcoins, go ahead and sell it. You can always throw it in the Bitcoin or something like that because things are going down, and that's exactly what happened. So that helped save a lot of my positions. And I've
Mm.
also made gains on a few things based on recommendations. I remember when you guys were talking about sometimes when things get listed on exchanges, those things tend to go up. And so I
Yeah.
took advantage of that. I was not a big fan of meme coins, but I saw like Dogelon Mars being posted, being posted all over like Instagram, and it's
Right.
like it's on Gemini. And then I was looking on Gemini. I'm like, I don't see it on Gemini, right? And I'm like, oh, that means it's going to be coming out on Gemini. And I was like, you
Mm.
know what? I took a chance on that. I put in $1,000 and boom, that thing 2x. And I took my capital out and I was happy about
Nice.
that.
Very, very nice.
And then I was like, not touching that again,
Right. Right.
but yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've learned, especially like with Hex too. When you
Yeah.
guys introduced Hex, it was down at 16 cents. I ended up buying that. It went up to about 32. I did the
Yeah.
sacrifice phase, basically with gains. A lot of the information you guys throw out there is very good information. And I know that none of us are ever perfect, but you guys, I gotta say, like 80, 90% of the time, know your stuff. I gotta say, like
Oh,
it's
no.
high up there. A lot of people don't do that. There's a lot of shilling on YouTube and stuff from others that don't even know what the hell they're talking about, and you guys
Yeah.
do.
Well,
So
and one of the things just to let people know in terms of like, the timing of the course and everything, we were mentioning this when we were on Dollar Cost Crypto stream recently. Essentially, we try to get the course because like what most people on YouTube do, they do two things, right? One, right, like you said, they kind of talk out of their wheelhouse, or they basically do pre-recorded videos. They never go live, right? They always do pre-recorded videos, and then when you get them live, right, they're like, so that's why we do everything live in the course. But in
Yeah.
terms of like the dates and everything, um, we all, what most crypto YouTubers will also do is they will sell into a pump, because when things are
Right.
pumping, everybody's happy. Everybody wants to probably purchase something, right? So they'll, basically do that. Whereas what we do is we try to basically give the people who are joining the course the best opportunity possible for that quarter. And so, it's not always the perfect timing, but we try to get the best we can. And we know, right, the Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates here in basically in the next week. And so there's some downwards pressure there. And so we have the sales period and the enrollment period for the course right now through the 26th for you guys, just to, basically get you guys into the Telegram chat before, right, that opportunity comes, so we can communicate that properly to everybody who does join the course. And then the webinars will begin on August 6th, which gives you guys, enough time to kind of basically prepare. Some people are brand new to crypto. We have a bunch of people in the chat who, like Miguel said, we've had over 8,000 people
Yeah.
that we've helped with our products and services. And so we have a lot of people returning. Some people, we've done this is our 9th course. We've had people who've done 7, 8 courses, 4 courses, 2 courses, like a lot of people coming back. And that's also a very good sign for what we do. So, I appreciate the kind words as well, Jesse. And, we try to do the best we can to get you guys in the best situation possible, right? So we're focused on you guys in the course, right? Not our side. And that's why we're part of No Sleep Gang as well. We do sacrifice a lot of our sleep schedule to make sure that we get to make sure that we get everybody in the course situated. But then the third thing that people do on YouTube, which and on Twitter as well, and I don't really like this, is they take paid sponsorships,
Right.
right, from exchanges, which don't always have your best interest at heart, like leverage exchanges, where basically they try to get you to borrow money so that you can bet bigger, and usually people lose their money that way. So we don't ever take those types of sponsorships. Actually, we have never taken any sponsorships. We've had companies come up to us and say, hey guys, we'll give you $30,000 in USDC or USDT. All you have to do is for like 2 weeks talk about this exchange.
Right.
Sorry, not interested, right?
Yeah.
And this is why we also make the crypto mindset course for you guys as well, because we're confident in our own products and services, and we can control that, and we can help you guys as best as possible that way. But, most of these other people here in crypto, if you look at, people on social media, they will quickly throw their audience under the bus for $1,
Yeah.
or $30,000 or whatever it is, which is extremely sad to see because there can be so much better content out there on crypto, and I think this is why crypto gets a bad rap because people go and they don't hear honest content, and I think that's one of the things that situates us apart. So, yeah,
Right. That's one of the things that we see a lot on Twitch too, is that kind of
Okay.
like sellout
Right.
a lot of times, and then they come back and they're just like apologizing. Oh, it's okay, and then that keeps the audience still going with them and whatnot. And really, most of the time, it's not okay with that.
right,
And a lot of people can't see it because they're so plugged in, right, to the way society is, how
Right.
people take advantage of others, that kind of thing. And that's what I love so much about the Red Pill community and how it's helped me change, is it built that
Yeah.
confidence and everything. It made me come out, realize no, I can't get depressed anymore. It's impossible.
nice,
There's no depression with me ever again. If I go to zero, then I'll come back up because I have good people that I know. You know what
yeah,
I mean? The same with finances. Like you guys financially are helping me continue doing what I love to do. And I
Yeah.
think that that's freaking amazing. And I don't want to just stop there. I want to continue to grow it even more, over time. So
yeah. I'm kind of curious to hear a little bit about that. Like, obviously, you're doing very, very well here on Twitch. So yeah, yeah, just kind of curious to hear about like kind of where we've helped you to get in those plans thus far, and then also kind of like where you're going next on that journey. Because I know usually those types of journeys, like there's several years, they take a long time, and there's the goal at the end is quite high. So
right, and I'm very much aware that it's going to take time. But I guess I'll try to give the short version. Basically, I've been streaming for a long time. I used to be that kind of guy who was like a professional player who traveled all over North America. I was playing in these major events. My wife fell in love with me. She had like that genuine desire, and everything, all over me, sitting on my lap, stuff like that. It was a great time. But over time, things started changing. I was getting judged a lot, and I let that affect me. And then, if you ever watch like Rich Cooper, like the train wreck, Betaization, 1,000 concessions, that's what happened to me. I started changing from what I used to be. And then after everything happened, I went through like an even worse depression stage. I started gaining like a lot of weight and stuff. And then a friend of mine came on the stream. He apparently was here in North Carolina. He is a Bitcoin maxi, by the way.
I love it.
He has like a nice, he has like a lot of land and a big mansion and everything now.
Oh, I think
A
you were
big
telling me about
house.
this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
he gave me Rolo's book, and then the what was the Bitcoin book that he gave me, the famous one?
Bitcoin Standard.
There you go, Bitcoin Standard. He gave me both of those books, and then I found Rich Cooper online. I started following him with like the whole train wreck. That made me understand how women think. And then he came on stream with Rolo, and I was like, holy crap, that's the guy from the book. You know what I mean? And then I saw you guys come onto his stream as well, talking about crypto. That's when I found you guys. And I'm like, you know what? All of these guys, like Robert Kiyosaki, I started learning about women. I started learning about how they think. I started learning about economics, It made me realize the world is completely different out there. And that 95% of us are just so plugged into the norm, right? And as soon as I unplugged and disconnected, which is kind of like a brand I'm going with now with Twitch, because I want to help other gamers out do the same thing and find that balance in life. I know that a lot of red pills like, if you're playing games or whatever, it's not good for you. You shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, well, I think if you know how to balance it and stay focused, go to the gym, do what you need to do each and every day, continue, you can pull it off, right?
course.
So that's what I'm trying to do. So with all of that happening, I just took information from everybody. When it came to psychology and understanding, it was easy for me, right? So the stuff, the free content that like Sterling Cooper, Rich, Rolo, worked for me. Now, as far as finances goes, I was like, man, I'm still kind of stuck on the finances. So now I started taking risk in my life for the first time ever. I started dishing out money, like for example, for the course to go fly
Yeah.
out to Vegas and go to Hot Dude Con where I met MLD. Oh, by the way, oof, feeling like MLD right now. I got that Rolo background too. You know, I'm taking everybody's
that jacket's
taking
thick right
everybody's
now,
shit
man.
right now. But you know, basically, oh, the funny thing is too, the red pill lion, actually looks like me too, which is kind of
Nice.
funny.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
So I pulled like one of the
Do you-
best
have
ones.
you-
I was
have you
like,
got
oh
one?
wow, yeah, yeah, I've got
Okay,
one.
nice.
So yeah, you know, just taking all of those things has helped me. I do have like 2 kids, so over the summer it's hard to stay focused when I have them custody wise, but I need to because it's long distance. So that's the only time I can be like a dad when they're out of school. So then I started thinking to myself, what can I do to continue doing what I'm doing, grow my finances, still be a dad, and still be relatively secure in the future? And it's this. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
What are kind of the next steps on this? Like,
oh,
I'm just kind of like interested in the vision of what you're kind of building here.
so my place. So I'm taking a lot of risks. Usually, I'm very comfortable. The old me would not move from where I'm at. I ended up getting this condo. It went up. I had to refinance it, and I was like, I'm not going to move. I bought like a big ass elliptical and everything. I started getting into shape and stuff, and then now the market's so insane that I'm like, well, I think someone who's smart would sell the place, would invest in crypto right now, especially if I'm getting like 100 G's out of it,
Yeah.
and then grow it that way. And then when the market goes up, housing will probably go down a little bit at that time.
Yep.
Take out of that a little bit, get another place, and then continue to cultivate the crypto that I've been cultivating from the start. And I can't be playing around with just a little bit of money I have. I need something that's really going to push it, is what I feel like.
Yep.
You know?
Well, and I think, yeah, that's what's going to be really interesting over the next 1 year, 1.5 years or so, is I do think crypto, right? It is the most liquid asset class out there. So it tends to be where people take money from first. And so, you know, this downtrend that we're experiencing across all markets right now, right? I do think there's a very high chance that essentially crypto bottoms, not necessarily first, but it could be, right? And then essentially real estate is one of the most illiquid and slowest asset classes, right? And so in terms of that bottoming, I think that's going to be much later. So exactly like you described, right? Have that nice kind of like
Almost like a swing trade.
flipping it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what the
I was gonna say
flippening is
flip
that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
like, no, I think that's going to go very, very well and smart.
I'm glad. I'm kind of
Yeah.
because me and you talked a lot about this over there in Miami as well as. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Vegas as well as we had a couple calls and stuff like that. So yeah, Jesse's out here trying to make moves, and he's gonna make moves for sure. That
Yeah.
is the beautiful thing of being in the red pill and stuff, is that it gives you more self confidence as well as like you can taking actions and steps and making plans. You know, and like the red pill isn't about making plans, but it's just because you take so much self accountability that you end up kind of putting this whole thing. All right, if I want this, I need to do this and this and this. So let me make some action steps here, take and stuff like that. And that's sort of the way we also model the course, the crypto mindset course as well, is that we take a person that joins up that doesn't know anything and get them to the point where they're able to just do anything that interests them in the crypto space, which is really powerful. Because I mean, like one of the sectors that I'm super highly investing into and have invested into is GameFi, which some people in the crypto space
I was going to
don't
bring
like.
that up. Yep.
Yeah. Some people in the crypto space don't like that name. They like like everything. Everyone's being niched. Like I'm play to earn. No, I'm play to win. You know, or whatever the concept. But I like saying GameFi as like all of it. Basically, is this is a $1 trillion industry coming in the next 5 years. Like the amount of money, the amount of players that are jumping into the GameFi space is insane. Like the kind of money you can make on both playing video games as well as like investing in video games is here. Like when you play video games for the most part, you have to buy skins and you do this, or you jump into a game and you level your character up to a certain level and you unlock all the character content, you did all the missions, you have all this fucking sick gear, and then the new game comes over and then you have nothing again.
Yep.
So imagine how decked up or how rich you guys would be if, since because all you guys are playing video games. I played video games forever. You know, I love playing Skyrim and like Fallout 3, and I mean I played all tons of games, computer games, World of Warcraft. Like, that was a fucking 3 year black hole in my life.
And Charlie with his FIFA, right?
Oh yeah. Was a top guild. I mean, it was a pally tank and stuff though, for sure during World of War, during Wrath of the Lich King and stuff like that. But imagine that all this gear and all that stuff that I worked so hard for was able to transfer over. What would happen is men and women who played games for a very long time now are actually pretty wealthy in the video game world, and that wealth can then be translated to real world wealth and stuff like it. Well, like with World of Warcraft, right? There were people who would work all day and night, sell their gold to these companies, and then people would then buy gold from those companies, and so you'd have to kind of have an arbitrary way of like transforming your basically in-game assets into cash. Well, now every asset can be turned into cash. Everything's interchangeable. Like, I could take the shirt off, send it to you, and then put a different shirt on, and just pocket the difference. Yep. And then like and then, you know, with people who are in the space, I mean, this is crazy. You start off pretty young, you can become a millionaire off of playing games. It's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of the gaming community right now, right, is like, we don't want NFTs, we don't want crypto, right? Like, we want to keep it kind of status quo, the way things are. But there's going to be kind of a couple things that do bring people over. One, right, Square Enix right now is basically, you know, doing NFTs for the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So, you know, that's going to hit, you know, and buying some of those.
Engine and Polkadot, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, you know, for me, I never played Final Fantasy VII, but hell, I'll go buy one of those because I know the fan base is huge, the money is there, right? So, hell, just grab some of those NFTs; it'd be good. But in terms of, you know, the prize pools, right? So what DCC was talking about there, right, is like people doing some flips within ecosystems, essentially, but also, you know, with some of this GameFi space, I mean, professional gamers who, you know, go to a lot of tournaments, right? They're going to look at crypto and they're just going to look at the money that's being made in some of these GameFi spaces. They're just like, what? You know, and that's just going to bring the professional gamers in. Once they get good at the crypto space, I mean, I think a lot of the industry will follow.
I'm telling you, like, let's just say, like, overnight, like like everyone went from like regular, it was still gaming, and like, professional gamers all went to like crypto games, or just like where every game is like has NFTs and everything like that. The income generated for guys in the professional space is probably going to increase 5 to 10 times for the average guy. The top of the heap, the best guys in the world, they're pretty much going to start making like 50, 100 million plus a year, way more than that. I mean, I'm talking about crazy money.
You know, it's actually kind of funny because Illuvium is the big game that's being hyped up, and it's going to be PC based, I believe, right?
Yep.
And so it's a strategy game, and I play mostly strategy, and I'm like, I feel like all these guys out here that play strategy games aren't going to even know what Illuvium is, and I'm going to jump into this thing, and maybe I'll be the #1 Illuvium player.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
So, you know, I think about like all these things. I'm like, man, I think it's going to be like hella fun. And it's one of the games that I'm heavily interested in, especially as a streamer, starting out when it does happen, when it does get released.
Right.
Yeah. So
because you have a lot to game, and there's a ton of money behind that company alone. Like that, it's one of the companies, me and Charlie, that put our weight and fate behind that game, just because we know what kind of stuff they can pull off, as well as like the guys who made their game are basically Ethereum royalty, pretty much. Like the guy who created it, Kane Warwick, his older brother, Kieran Warwick, I'm sorry, his older brother Kane is pretty much the guy who invented yield farming for all of crypto.
Oh wow!
With synthetics,
That's something I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy and stuff like that. Their etho, I mean, the family's kind of etho G money, which means like they pretty much got into Ethereum like 50 cents. 50 cents.
Well,
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Yeah,
not too shabby.
50 cents today. I think, what is it, like $1,500 now? So that's quite a return on capital, plus yielding and stuff like that, and then creating their own sort of ecosystems. So they've obviously very wealthy and stuff. So they got connections, and these are very hyper intelligent people. Like the way they've developed the game in terms of just like the token essentially can generate you a ton of income for holding it. And as a game expand, it's more like a token where like you control an entire ecosystem. So it's a game studio coin where like every game that they launch under the Illuvium brand, like they're planning to launch like 6 Illuvium games, and then from there they're going to start making different games, and all the income generated from all the games goes back to the master guy who's holding the key basically for the Illuvium token.
Master key.
Master key.
It's like Zelda. Kind of reminds me of DeFi Kingdoms a little bit. When you introduce
Right,
that,
right.
when you introduce that during a Q1 course, like, what the hell is this crap? Is he playing a Link to the Past on Super Nintendo or something?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much, yeah.
And then this thing, what, like 5-6x during the time? Like $2 to like 12 or something. I was like, what? No way. I should have gotten into that. I was tempted, but I was like, I'm going to stick to traditional stuff. I went with like Spooky Swap and all that when you're talking about tombs. So,
But at the same time, too, we teach this in the course. Fast up can also mean fast down as well, because it launched up super fast over like a 3-month period of time. Everyone made a lot of money, and then we were telling people, hey, cash out DCA, start getting USDC. But obviously, people get that is one thing, greed, like because the money once crypto's pumping, the money comes fast. It's when it rains, it pours, man. It is serious capital. And the beautiful thing about so during the tail end of bull markets, it comes fast and then it kind of like dries up fast, right? But the beautiful thing of where we're at right now, we're kind of in the beginning of the cycle, so we kind of get the slow burn returns over time, and then we hit into the really peak mania phase where the money just gets ridiculous. I don't want to say I don't want to say too much numbers and stuff of what like money made over past bull markets and stuff, but I mean it's quite substantial.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at Illuvium specifically, right, it's still a very affordable token. If we just look at potential returns on that, even if we just return to basically all-time highs in the crypto market, right? The all-time high on Illuvium, I believe, was $1,800.
Yeah.
Currently around $100. You do the math. Pretty good.
Yep, that's for sure. I think they want to push that even further, and it seems to be growing like really well. The nice thing about the game too is that from a industry kind of like look at it, it's basically an MMO with Pokemon, and then they have like the different kind of elements, and then the elements can mix, and there's a lot of strategy behind it, and the graphics are really good. So it's targeting an audience that is toward children and adults from what you're seeing in it. And I think that the project that they're working on has a really good chance of just shooting off like crazy when it happens. Because a lot of gaming industries out there, like these indie games, they kind of target like this certain audience. Like they'll target these 30-year-olds from this certain game, or like over here, just kids only. But like a game like that with the graphics, the way it looks, it's going to bring in like all ages into that game pretty much. So yeah, so they're on it.
So these game companies kind of hit you guys up like because of course I don't Twitch, so I don't know how the game works and stuff. So do they hit certain like demographics of Twitch streamers and stuff? So like, okay, this guy's a 30-year-old streamer that does 30-year-old people games.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
How does it work?
I get a lot of that stuff on the side. I very rarely pick it up though, because I'm like, I don't feel like playing this or whatever. But there was one game that I was showing. I think you guys know it, Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh yes.
I get so much crap for shilling that game, but what's funny is even though I play it free to play, I get so much crap for it, but it's fun to play. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like a lot of these games, like when we're talking about like Illuvium, for example, is it going to be free to play? I think it is. It's just, or you might have to pay like $2 for a ball or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you might have to have a little Ethereum for gas and stuff like that, but yeah, it'll be pretty low cost.
Yeah.
Other than that, you could just start playing it right away, you know?
Yeah, right away. And actually, there's a way in the, so it's not forever, but when the game initially launches, you can actually, I've talked to Kieran about this and stuff, the actual creator of it and stuff, and pretty much you're gonna be able to play it for the first 2 months, and you actually can't. A guy who doesn't have any money at all will be able to get themselves into the paid content or all the stuff where you can make money. But after a while, it's gonna have to be like you can still play the free. You can play the whole game for free, but then if you want to get into the areas where you can actually like sell things for a lot of money and everything like that, like you have to like kind of it's kind of more like you have to pay a little bit of a fee to kind of get into the kind of like you're paying a subscription base or something like that, or like a initial fee, and then from there you can start earning money and stuff like that.
Kind of like World of Warcraft, but you don't earn money.
Yeah, they shut down your account.
I
Well,
get it.
yeah, and just since we're on the subject of Illuvium as well, like
Yeah.
in terms of how they build, like there is a difference between them and everybody else that's building games in crypto. Everybody else is like, don't worry, guys, we're building it. It's coming. Like, just buy the token and it's all good,
Yeah.
right? Like, they actually have a product. It's working. And also on top of that, I have a sneaking suspicion that, you know, Kieran Warwick and the Warwick family and everybody with Illuvium, they have a lot more finished than they let on, essentially.
Yeah.
So they actually do the opposite of what everybody else does in crypto is they build a product that's extremely good, but then also basically like under promise and over deliver on that as well, which
Yep.
to me is just going to make the token even more valuable.
Yeah.
Cool. Someone was asking in the chat about the course that if you do like an NFT class, you know, can you go a little bit over what you guys do in the course?
Sure. Essentially, the way the course is built, we have 20 webinars, 15 of which are live, 5 are pre-recorded. So as soon as you get into the Telegram chat, basically once you pay for the course, you get in within 24 hours, basically into the Telegram chat. Once you get in, you'll basically get schedule plus everything that's going on with the pre-record webinars. You'll get situated. Then we'll do the 15 live webinars. We have, of those webinars, we start with stuff that, you know, the pre-recorded is a lot for the beginners, the people who have never done crypto, but the people who have already been in crypto. With the webinars, what we try to do is we try to hit like every different subject in crypto, from on-chain data, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, NFTs, everything. And so, yeah, we go from like, you know, high beginner to intermediate to advanced. Once we get to the intermediate to advanced section, that's where we basically bring in the NFT expert Anorak, which DCC can tell you a little bit about. But yeah, we do a whole webinar, just like deep dive on NFTs, what's hot in the space, what's not. In the NFT space, you know, there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of things that basically you have to be wary of. And so, you know, essentially Anorak, like he has a nose for this in the NFT space. It's like, don't go over there. Total scam. Like people are just dumping that right now, essentially. And, you know, he's right 99% of the time. So, yeah, we're like, he's one of the guests that we really, really enjoy. Also, we have other guests. Sometimes we have guests from the GameFi space. We had, I think it was in Q1 of this year, Polemos CEO, Sasha. Basically, he came on the stream as well, gave a breakdown of kind of where GameFi is going and what Polemos is building and how you can kind of yield in the GameFi space. So yeah, we cover a bunch of stuff, but you want to add anything to that, DCC?
No, definitely, yeah. So I actually, that's actually perfect. You went into the guilds actually.
Yep.
So, yeah, Sasha has Palomos and stuff, which is pretty much going to be it is the premier gaming guild. So it's sort of this whole thing where it's like a cohort of like it's kind of like a company, sort of like Illuvium as well, where like they pretty much buy a bunch of. It's almost like an ETF in a way, where like they own assets in a bunch of like essentially crypto games. And they all earn a bunch of money from it as well. And then from there, they use their players and stuff who are part of the guild. Hey, if you want to, let's just say you don't have money to buy any of this stuff to earn money. Well, you have time. Well, hey, could you farm this digital piece of land for me? And then you get 50% of the profits.
I'm just curious,
And
why
the
am
other
I so
50% of the
good?
profits ends up going over to shareholders, basically, people who hold the token. And then you start making income off of it. So it's this whole thing where it solves like this whole issue of like, okay, I don't have any money to get started, but these guys will help me get started, and then I can start earning money. And what I really like about them is like they're trying to actually get you to the point where you can afford to buy your own assets, not just like be a slave to their system, which there's a lot of these other gaming guilds out here where pretty much you're what was the classic? You're the Chinese gold farmer, basically, but you'll never be anything more. And there's like they've added a lot of things for upwards mobility to get you to the point where like, all right, thank you for helping us, bro, but like level yourself up, buy your own land so you can start making all your own money, which is like really cool. So Sasha's making some crazy stuff in the gaming space, as well as like they're going to be throwing tournaments and they're major sponsors and stuff like that. But like it's a really interesting sort of project in coin. And this what I'm saying is like I don't like me and Charlie do a lot of research and we make connections with people because we think that the projects we kind of tell people in the courses we actually think have the highest chance of actually doing something in the space and stuff, because we've been around a long time and we got a pretty high like bullshit radar, you know, on a lot of things. So we could tell right away if something's like, it looks like they're not really trying hard. It's just a cash grab, right? Because when we were talking about NFTs earlier, right, one of the reasons we work with Anorak, right, is there's two types of NFT people who make money. Just two types. That's it. Nothing else. But like two types of people who make money in NFTs.
People who make money, the people who don't. No, I'm joking.
No. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, the ones who make money, the ones who don't make money. No, but it's basically people who make NFTs and make money, and people who buy and flip NFTs and make money. That's really the only two categories. For the most part, this is one thing why I really respect Anorak is Anorak doesn't make his own NFTs. He goes out into the market, sees sentiment, and figures out like, is there a play here? Is there money to be made? And that has made him extremely sharp. There is not that many really good NFT flippers, and the ones that are good, they're not talking to anybody about it. Completely. So Anorak is really, I mean, he's like, I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna blow up his spot and stuff, but he's made a significant amount of money as well. I mean, he's like millions, you know, and it's that sort of thing and stuff. It's just catching on to trends and stuff like that. So like he's a pretty highly respected guy. I've known him for about like my whole crypto. I've known him since like 2018, basically.
Wow.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, very high integrity guy too, right? So you mentioned there a lot of those types of guys don't say anything about what's happening in the market, but I mean he's an open book, right? And he calls out bullshit all the time, which is fantastic. That's why we have him on the course as well.
Speaking of calling out bullshit all the time, what do you guys think of Hex and Richard Hart a little bit? Because I brought that up on the stream quite a bit. I actually have Hexicans in the chat. I was very surprised when I mentioned it the first time. Some guys were like, "Oh man, Ruff, you're a Hexican. What's up? Oh, that's super cool."
That's kind of what I was going to ask too, because like each audience background is different, right? Like kind of like what's the audience background here, like in terms of, because it looks like there's a lot of people who understand crypto pretty well, which is good to see.
Yeah. So with my audience, I'm a little bit of a black sheep in the one StarCraft community and on Twitch. I'm sure you very much well know. But you know, when I say black sheep, it's just like my views, politics, that kind of thing, right?
Sure.
Leaning in that direction. And I went through this phase, I want to say a year ago, where, oh man, I got a lot of flack on Twitch for just not giving a crap anymore and just talking the way that I believed. And those who have stuck around and who continued to watch my stream, I noticed that they thought the same way. They just never like really said anything. They kind of felt that energy that I had, or the same kind of energy. And then eventually when I started coming out about things, like started talking about stuff, for example, like with Hex, they just start coming out themselves too. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know? So basically my audience is very much in that kind of like reddish pill phase as well. Maybe not entirely, but they are. And I've had people come in here talking about certain things, like out of nowhere, like about Rolo and stuff, before I even mentioned it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's super cool, you know?
Nice.
So when I thought about you guys and when I thought about that kind of like manosphere community, I felt like you guys might be a good touch to come on the stream and basically help these guys out, help them try to push themselves to go a little bit further, understand economics, understand risk, try to make those risks to improve their lives. Right now it's low risk in my opinion. This is the best time to jump into the course because we've got, you know, the bottoms are coming in. Who knows? We might have already had it. We don't know. But yeah, so when I'm on here, I'm like, hey guys, like, look, if you're scared or something about this, 100%, this is probably the best time to take the crypto mindset course, in my opinion, you know.
So yeah, now that we kind of know your audience a little better, then, I mean, you know this obviously, but I'm just gonna introduce it to your audience. I mean, you're lucky today. Dollar Cost Crypto has been in Hex since pretty much day one, like almost
No,
literally day one.
literally day one. No, literally
Right.
day one. Literally. I am Hex Jesus, if you guys don't know.
What happened to the
But,
Litecoin Moses?
Yeah, and so like if there's people who aren't like familiar with Hex, there's some people who are familiar with Hex. Like to answer Jesse's question, like for somebody who's like brand new to Hex, like and like has heard like, oh, I heard like, you know, there's a little bit of like political stuff in crypto. Some people really like it, some people don't. Like, how would you introduce it to somebody who's like brand new?
So I've done it a few times already on stream. I basically introduce it as there's this asshole out there that is changing people's lives and, you know, basically giving them free money, and he's shilling the crap about how he has the best diamond in the world and everything like that. But I give the persona of he is very similar like Trump, for example, like as a president. He just doesn't care. He's going to come out there, he's going to say things, but I didn't really see anything that he's done wrong, you know.
Yeah,
He's
been
literally
very good by his community.
He's been very strong about his views and his opinions and the things that he's mentioned. And so when I look at someone like that, this is someone that I see as he cannot fail. Because if he fails, then everything breaks down, and you know. And so when I see that kind of view with like that kind of ego, that mentality behind what he's doing, how he's like, this over here is shit, that over here is shit, this is crap, you know.
Yep.
I honestly believe that if he can't fail, like, or everybody's going to be on him like crazy, and he hasn't yet. So
yeah, and his biggest thing, because like we have Three Arrows Capital, we have Celsius, we have Voyager, we have all these things that did fail in crypto, right? Already, and with him specifically, right, with Hex, he said from like literally day one, you know, this thing's gonna do a 10,000x, guys, right? Like that's my intention, right? To basically give you guys a 10,000x, and it happened. You know, like I don't know anybody else in crypto who's kind of like just been like, hey, I'm gonna give you this amount of X's, like take it. You know, and with Pulse Chain coming out as well, you know, there's still opportunity for that within the Hex ecosystem, which is absolutely fantastic.
And I don't think people realize how much a 10,000x actually is. So let me put it in this context real quick. All right, if you put $1 into something that 10x's, that 10,000x's, you now have $10,000.
Pretty nice.
it's pretty nice.
Which actually happened, legitimately. So it's a crazy cool system, but it is this whole thing we teach in the courses about like in crypto, and this is also understanding just regular human psychology, is that there is cults of personality, and like humans want to like whether we want to admit it or not, we like to follow a leader, and we want an alpha. We want a CEO. We want somebody to know. Like we want to go to sleep at night knowing that someone's taking care of the boat, basically driving the ship, steering the wheel, basically. And all the times that we try to make democracies and try to do all kinds of things, even in a democracy, we still have a president. Interesting, right? We still have
even if he has to read off cue cards, you know.
Well, yeah, that's
Repeat
true, right?
the line.
Yeah.
But you know, Richard's been. I mean, I think a large point is. I mean, a large reason why they kind of come after him is basically because he's speaking the truth a lot of time in a not friendly tone.
Yep.
But he's speaking, so he makes a lot of people look bad because they are bad. Basically, you know,
Yep.
they are bad, and they don't like that. But it's hard to refute them. And on top of that, every time that someone's come after him and stuff, he's basically slaughtered them. Slaughtered. I mean, decimated.
What was it?
I love his
like
debates. The
recent
debates
one?
are really good.
Yeah, was it Tone Vase that he talked to most recently? There's somebody.
Yeah. Oh my God, these Bitcoin maxis got slaughtered, like destroyed. Basically, they like I like Bitcoin. Obviously, it's the gold standard in crypto. But here's the problem: is that the Bitcoin maximalists are just afraid to upgrade Bitcoin, and this is their main problem, because like you want to for not wanting to evolve and like upgrade your systems. They got their largest competitor, Ethereum. Like Vitalik Buterin, the guy who created Ethereum, used to work for Bitcoin Magazine, and he was telling everybody in Bitcoin Magazine, "Hey, you guys, like we should make all these things on the blockchain so we can have projects scale on BTC." And they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever, kid, get the hell out of here." Then now Ethereum's on their ass. Ethereum's worth
Yep.
40% of BTC right now.
Pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. Yep.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Ethereum didn't exist and everything launched on BTC? Can you imagine that? Like, we would be we'd be in some crazy spot right now. Like 2017 would have happened on BTC, and then sure we have now we have like other layer ones. Like if for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's basically other kind of like copycat Ethereums is basically what it is. And can you imagine if all that stuff was on BTC? I think I would be more hardline Bitcoin maxing now today if that was the case. Actually, I would be like, I'm a Bitcoin. Obviously my main asset's Bitcoin and stuff like. But now you're like, I hold way more Ethereum than I do Bitcoin personally. And altcoins as well. But that's the whole thing of not trying to evolve and just stay stagnant and stuff, which is kind of a problem. It does, but still, BTC is going to do fantastic regardless. It's still the bellwether, the main structure of crypto.
Yep.
The boomer gold of crypto.
Do you still believe
Can you believe that?
do you still believe it's better to cultivate the crypto into BTC, like sell alts into BTC still?
So everything has a season, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on what your goals are long term as well. So if you're, I would say there's always a time and place for that, yes. But it's when we're in a bull run, essentially, you're simply going to make more money outside of Bitcoin, right? Like with Ethereum, with altcoins, with all sorts of different stuff. But that, of course, brings a lot higher risk. So you have to kind of, take a look at that, because some of those projects, they come, very fast, and then they leave very fast as well. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see literally a bunch of coins die throughout this bear market, right? But Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're still going to be here. So one of the concepts that we talk about in the course is the citadel, meaning just kind of like long-term wise, like where you're trying to go with generational wealth. And so I do look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as like the cornerstones to your citadel. So if you're brand new to crypto, you're working with, a couple $1,000s, you're probably going to lean more towards like altcoins and not Bitcoin, just because that's where the gains are. Once you do build up to a certain area of generational wealth, right, there's going to be a certain amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum that you bought at such a good level that you're simply not going to sell. And I think there's some people who have a hard time with that concept, because they're like, what do you mean? Like, of course you can get more Bitcoin if you sell it at the top, you buy back in lower, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, you could, but like if your strike price is, $200, $500 on Bitcoin, and it's, $20,000 now, you're not really going to care about that fluctuation, and it's not money you're intending to spend in the short term anyways, right? So for that purpose, the long-term purpose, that's what Bitcoin and Ethereum are mainly for, in my opinion. Obviously, Ethereum is still pretty dynamic, but I think after the next cycle, Ethereum will kind of taper off a little bit more like Bitcoin, just it's kind of like one cycle behind, essentially, in terms of how it works. And you're going to get Wall Street as well kind of coming into Ethereum, especially like Goldman Sachs, trying to take some control of the network to some extent. So things are going to get interesting, but each time we have these 4-year plus cycles, essentially, what I think is happening and is going to continue to happen, because some people are like, well, isn't Bitcoin just going to get to a stable price eventually? Probably, right? And when it does, you're going to have all of these applications underneath it, that basically are running on the same technology, but have improved it or have changed to a more specialized unit. Yeah. And those ones are going to be where all the gains are. And each cycle we get these kind of projects that become how do I put it? Like the crypto elite, the top projects, right? Yeah. So
the blue Bitcoin, chips, basically. Yeah.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. And so you got Bitcoin and Ethereum that are at that right now, but literally any other coin could die, right? But we know Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be here forever. Right. By the time we get to, the next full cycle, some of the coins from this cycle, like Phantom, Polkadot, Solana, these layer 1 coins, Matic as well, essentially not all of them are going to survive, but the ones that do, right, they can be basically graduated into blue chip status. And then you'll treat those very similar to how you treat Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they're not going to go away. So you kind of have to understand how the cycles work, and then you have to kind of look to the future and be like, okay, how is this going to be built out?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And just to go on your point there, to kind of explain to the audience a little bit of what we're trying to say, what's going to happen to Bitcoin over the next by cycle. Usually, a crypto cycle is 4 years, right? So it's like every 4 years you have like a certain portion of it where it's like we're kind of crashing, we're trying to get to the bottom, we hit the bottom. Then the next year we're kind of recovering, and then the points after that, we're at the all-time highs, and we're woo, everyone's super happy, right? And then the tail end we start going back down, and then you repeat the 4 year cycle again. That's pretty much the 4 year cycle. So every time the cycle happens, you get birth, destruction, and rebirth again. And
Right.
the longer something survives, the more people like it's ingrained in multiple. Like every 4 years it's basically a generation, sort of like a high school class or a college class. So it's like every 4 years there's a new kind of batch. Like I'm the class of 2017, so is Charlie. Then people are gonna be like, oh, I was the class of 2021. That's
Oh, you're so
I'm just
lucky. You
curious,
got
why
in
am I
so
so
early.
good?
early. Wow, it was easy for you guys, back in my day, or like
Yeah.
whatever ends up people saying. So wherever the all-time highs were is pretty much where people count themselves as the class of. So it's like, so me and Charlie technically would be class of 2017, basically, right?
Yep.
And then people from your guys' stuff would be like, oh yeah, I basically am a 2021, 2022. Oh, okay, got it. And then pretty much kind of describes what all the shenanigans you guys were up to during that time and what coins you're like investing in and
Yep.
stuff. But as time goes on, eventually what Bitcoin's going to transform into something like this. It's going to transform into like, how if you go to a bank, Jesse, you can get a loan on your house so easy. Like you can take money out of your house. The reason you can is because it has equity, right? Yep. And it's a trusted asset. So BTC in the next cycle is really going to be an asset where you're going to be able to go anywhere and just get money for it. Because because you own a Bitcoin, you own basically like a piece of hard real estate that has instant equity, and then you can get loans and money on it at like basically at a really good rate. So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend, Bitcoin Maxi friend who introduced me to everything, actually already does that. He just transferred some Bitcoin to a wallet. It's under some kind of company, and it's utilized as collateral. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And the beautiful thing is like that's for like DeFi and crypto native guys who can, because we can show you guys right now how you can borrow your crypto if you want to on like Aave or any of these kind of DeFi platforms, or on Phantom and stuff like that, or Scream or anything else they need to. But what's going to happen over the next 8 years is like actual like big institutions in the real world will take your crypto and give you loans on houses and stuff like that, which probably a little dangerous. Probably I wouldn't be doing all that jazz, but you're going to be able to do that. And here's the magical thing is that usually everyone has to get a credit check. There's actually racial profiling. There's actually a lot of things where like you're not allowed to do something. You've got this gold. You've got this. Let's just say this is a ledger or like a crypto ledger. You have this crypto ledger here. Actually, as a matter of fact, sir, treasure right here.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, you got one of those treasures right there with the BTC in it. They'll give you basically the best loan ever for the best rate, because they're so hungry to get crypto and BTC in the future because it's worth so much. And it's basically like you have a 850 credit score, and with the long track rate, you're going to get an extremely good rate. So like literally, you'd be getting a loan during good times, and you might be getting a loan, let's just say at 1.5%.
Wow.
Yeah, like because it's that
even after these rates go
well,
up.
I'm being a little fishy. So obviously, I do expect rates to actually come down at some point, but whatever the rate is, it would be just like 25 basis points above that. So it's like if it's 6%, then it'd be 6.25. If it's 3%, 3.25 basically. But basically, you're pretty much getting it for the cost, what their cost of money is based, because that asset's that valuable, because who has the gold who makes the rules. So who has the actual assets on their balance sheet gets to make the rules when things go to shit, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it does look like the call is going to be ending here soon.
Okay.
So basically, these two gentlemen are introducing a course, and there is a link in the chat for the course, which I'm going to link right here.
Yeah, one thing I just want to mention for people who probably are like brand new to the course. So the expectation is essentially click the link. Basically, the payment for the course is a one-time fee, $9.97. You can pay by PayPal, you can pay by credit card, you can pay by GPay. There's a lot of different options. And then within 24 hours, you will get an email from our basically support at cultivatecrypto.com. If you don't get the email within the first 24 hours, go to your spam or your promotions folder and just double check if you basically got filtered out there. If you still haven't seen the link for the course after 24 hours by checking those folders, then email us at support@cultivatecrypto.com, and we'll take care of you and we'll get you in the Telegram chat as soon as possible.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys out there, I know I was in that same phase. They're like, hey, it's a little expensive, that kind of thing. Guys,
Right.
if you guys jump into this thing, you will, I would say 99% chance get your money back uh, through the course, because that's exactly what happened with myself. It helped me out, especially during a downtrend, because I knew exactly what to do. It helped preserve like my money, and I know that the information that they provided here long term is going to have gotten me more gains than it would have on my own, literally. So if you guys buy the course, I know it's around $1,000, and you have $1,000 to play with, you're gonna make your money back. Like I said, 99% chance. Especially if you're paying attention. This is something that you really want to invest in, something that you're convicted in. It's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you got to put in the work, you know, watching the webinars, understanding this stuff. You know, it takes some work, right? But if you do put that elbow grease in and to understand this and truly apply yourself, that's 100% the case.
Yeah, and to add on top of that, for those of you who are in my community, if you have any questions about the course, since I've taken the course already and I'm going to be in this course, feel free to DM me as well. You can DM me on Discord, on Twitter, anywhere. If you guys are a little worried about it, I can help you guys out with that too, you know, especially to get started. Yep.
And one thing that you're going to discover as soon as you join up instantly is that you're going to be part of a huge community. Like, holy crap, like you'll be able to ask any, like, you won't ever have to be afraid of asking anything dumb or a new question. Everyone's really nice in the chats and stuff, and they're there to help you. And it's in quotation safe space, but you know, regular safe space where you can ask cool questions, because a lot of the times if you jump into crypto, it is actually quite dangerous to be asking questions in random chats, because people are going to try to steal your money and scam you and stuff like that. So the most of the times when you lose money is actually when you first jump into crypto not knowing anything, because it's when you're most liable to fall for scams, as well as send money incorrectly, and then you could lose all your crypto. So you could legitimately send it to your wallet, and then you messed up and you're like, oh my God, you know. So we teach you everything you need to know to stay safe, and then from there, like, you're a lean mean DeFi earning machine.
Get into that DeFi kingdoms. Start playing some Link to the Past on NES. There you go.
Yeah.
Some NES Flappy Birds too. Who knows?
Well, actually, yeah, that's actually true too. Yeah.
All right. Well, where can the guys find you guys at? Via YouTube, like your socials?
Yeah, I have a Twitch here, so if you guys prefer Twitch, you can go to Cultivate.
Oh shoot,
Crypto
I'm gonna
here on
follow
Twitch.
that now.
There we go. So I stream through there every day, 5 days a week. And then also my main platform is YouTube. But if you type in Cultivate Crypto pretty much on any social media, you'll find me. Just make sure it's spelled correctly. On stuff like Instagram, there's some fake accounts and stuff like that. But Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Cultivate Crypto is where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can. My name is Miguel, and then but my name is Dollar Cost Crypto, and you can follow me at Dollar Cost Crypto on YouTube. Stream 3 times a week, and then a myriad of other streams. Moon Gang on Charlie's at 7 on Sundays, as well as Crypto Oasis on Donovan Sharp's channel. But you can also follow me on Twitter's where I'm most active, but also have an Instagram just like Charlie. But make sure to watch out for fake events. I won't be DMing, like, I won't DM you directly unless we've actually had previous like contact or something like that. You can DM me, that's not a problem, but you can tell right away, like, if someone's an imposter, because, like, hey, do you do crypto? Why would I ever send you? You know,
I've got one of those imposters from you, by the way, once.
Right. So yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I appreciate guys for coming on here. Basically explaining your content to the stream. Hopefully you guys out there will take the course. I highly recommend it. You guys will be very happy with it. And yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you guys later. Yep.
Thanks for having
Peace
us.
out. All right, guys. So